Hello, I'm Annette Young and welcome to the 51%, a show about women reshaping our world. Coming up, as fears grow over the spread of the Zika virus across Latin America, women are being urged not to have babies. Also, we meet British finance journalist Jasmine Birtles and talk about the rather complicated relationship women have with money. And sex in the city, Ghana style. But first, and as the Zika virus spreads, so too does the concern. The World Health Organization says the virus is likely to reach nearly all of the Americas. More than 1 million cases of the mosquito-borne illness have been detected in Brazil alone. Most at risk are pregnant women and their unborn children. And that's prompted some officials in Latin America to urge women to avoid getting pregnant over the next 2 years. This in a region where abortion is illegal.
Hospital waiting rooms in Brazil have rarely been this crowded. Mothers suspecting their newborns have microcephaly are rushing to consult experts. Babies suffering from the condition have brains smaller than normal. In some cases, their eyesight and hearing are damaged too. There are thousands of confirmed cases, an outbreak blamed on the Zika virus.
I've been an infectious disease doctor for 43 years. I've never seen anything like this. Doctors are stressed, mothers are panicking. Some hold on to hope that everything will be all right with their baby. And we have to tell them it won't be.
The Zika virus scaring families across South America is transmitted through this mosquito, the Aedes aegypti. In most cases, symptoms are mild, but when pregnant women are infected, the virus can spread to their womb, destroy their baby's brain tissue, and cause brain damage. There's no cure for the disease, so pregnant women are doing all they can not to get it.
My doctor tells me to use insect repellent. I don't think there's much to be done. There's no vaccine, and the only preventative method is to not get bitten and avoid areas with mosquitoes.
But not everyone can go to safe places. Many pregnant women live precisely in the type of area they need to avoid. While authorities are killing mosquitoes, there's no known plan to relocate people at risk.
Now, the World Economic Forum has released its annual gender gap survey, and in some good news, its authors say they believe Iceland may become the first country in the world to close the gender gap completely. The nation is 87% of the gap being closed now and scores well on many fronts, particularly when it comes to women and economic participation. But it also reveals, once again, that across the globe, women are still earning less than men while continuing to make up a smaller percentage of the workforce in every industry. And just to confirm that, recently even Hollywood actor Gillian Anderson admitted to reporters that she was initially offered half of what her co-star David Duchovny was for the remake of the X-Files series. Now, here with me in the studio today is British finance journalist Jasmine Birtles, who's the founder of moneymagpie.com. Jasmine, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Now, it's, you know, when you hear that sort of bit of news that Gillian Anderson, 20 years on, is still being offered less than half of what her co-star is, I mean, one thinks, how far have we indeed come?
Well, yes, you do think that. And as you say, you know, in this day and age, I mean, we're always saying in this day and age, but it is true. We've been talking about this for a few decades now. Things have improved, certainly, but there's still, as Gillian Anderson has found, there's still some lag. And the interesting thing is when it comes to a pay gap, it starts very early. I've seen research that's found that with pocket money, boys tend to be paid about 15% more than girls.
Jasmine, your website has actually published articles about how women need to push for pay rises or ensure that they're being paid fairly to begin with. What exactly do you advise?
Well, what I found with women, and I speak also as an employer myself, which is that women don't ask for the money, whereas men do. I've found over and over that I will offer a certain amount to a man or a woman. Practically every time the woman will go, all right. Quietly, she may be thinking, well, that's not enough. But the man will go, yeah, I don't think I could manage on that. Can you put it up? And sometimes I will think, well, yes, I can. Now, if we don't ask, we don't get. And women need to learn how to ask, how to realise what they're doing well, and put together, maybe write down for themselves a list of the achievements that they've made, the ways in which they have contributed to the business, the ways in which they've increased the income. And in a measured way, it doesn't have to be, excitable, but in a measured way, show that to employers or commissioners, whoever is bringing them in, and say, look, this is what I've done, this is what I'm capable of. I think I need some more money for that.
I think we all tend to suffer from what's called the imposter syndrome, don't
yes,
we?
big
That we
time.
believe we're not good enough to begin with, so therefore we shouldn't even ask.
Yeah, totally. And again, I'm certainly one of those. And what I've also found is that women, when they're even going for a job, generally speaking, unless they feel they are 100% qualified, they won't even go for it. Whereas with men, if they've got 20, 30% of what's asked for, they'll go, yeah, go on, give it a punt. We need to give things a punt more. We need to take more leaps. And this, I think, is something that we can learn from men. I've found that watching men and seeing how they think and how they act has been actually very useful. I think there's a lot we can learn from men, as certainly there's a lot that men can learn from us.
Well, let's just widen the conversation out a bit, because I think it also comes back to money and the fact that women do tend to have, and I hate sweeping generalisations, but there is a strong tendency for us women to have a rather complicated relationship with money.
Yes, we do. And the thing is, we really don't need to. There was some research, it's about 15 years ago, at the University of California that found that when men and women have the same level of knowledge of the stock market, women actually perform better. Not massively, but they do. They perform better than men at actual investing, which is serious stuff. But then on a day-to-day basis, although quite a lot of mothers, for example, and wives, spouses, partners, the female partner often is the decision maker when it comes to major purchases like the car, the holiday, that sort of thing. They will often do the research. It's the man who ultimately will pay for it. And the thing is also that young women, I feel like screaming when I talk to them sometimes. Young women that I talk to about managing their money will still say, oh, yes, but I can marry a rich man. And I want to shake them saying, no, it's not going to happen, really, or it's very unlikely to happen. And there are a lot of men out there looking for a rich woman, actually.
And I think this is also very important when it comes to retirement, because figures show that women, when they reach that period of their lives, have a lot less in their bank account than their male counterparts do.
Yes, they do. I mean, in Britain, for example, the figures are pretty much half. It is improving as women work more, they go back to work and they think about it more. But certainly at the moment, women retire on about half of the pension pot that men do. And it's the same in America. And I think across the West, certainly, it's a significant difference. And when you think that on the whole, women last longer, we live longer than men, that's more years that we have to fund. So I do urge women to think of their lives in an independent way, just to assume that they are going to have to look after themselves. They may not, hopefully they will be able to be looked after for a while, but assume that you will look after yourself, certainly for part of your life, and that you won't, for example, be a burden on your children. I mean, that's something for mothers to consider, for example.
Jasmine Birtles, we've run out of time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And it's been dubbed Africa's version of Sex and the City. The hit online show, An African City, tells the tale of love and loss for 5 young women living in Ghana. The show's creators say they wanted to celebrate a side of modern middle-class Africa that isn't often seen on television. Katerina Vittozzi reports from the red carpet at the premiere for the show's 2nd season.
This is a story of an African city.
The city's Accra, Ghana. The story, the lives, loves and libidos of 5 African women.
And I know, I live to talk about it, see?
You do, girl. We always do.
An African City Season 1 was an online sensation with more than 2 million views.
You have a picture of Jesus over there on the wall that looks like Brad Pitt.
Now back for a 2nd series, fans love it for the fashion, the fun and its fresh perspective on African life.
There's a certain group of Ghanaian women who are now seeing themselves reflected on TV. young, modern, working. If you hear of any stories coming out of Africa, it's about poverty. But to see young, dynamic women on TV, I think that's been the biggest thing.
The show follows 5 Ghanaians back in Accra after either being born or living overseas.
And I remember sitting there, age 6, in the States, knowing so clearly that miles and miles away that there was this home that I truly belonged to.
Creator Nicola Matafio believed that's a feeling many people identify with.
My favorite comment on YouTube is a woman who wrote, "I'm Puerto Rican, born in New York, but I live in Italy, and what do I have in common with all these women? Everything."
Love.
But the programme hasn't been without its critics.
It went in a little.
Scenes of single women having sex has shocked some in conservative Christian Ghana. But the show's writers want to provoke that debate.
It is so crucial for us to create space to have honest conversations about sex in a society and culture like Ghana, where women are really shamed and judged for even having a sexuality.
Season 2 promises more glamour, sex and soul-searching, all done in killer heels.
And that's it for now. And if you'd like to comment on what you've just seen, you can head to our Facebook page. That's France24, full stop, 51% -France24. Or do send us a tweet at _51%. Thanks for your feedback so far. And please keep those comments coming in. So until our next program, bye for now.